Okay, the strut, you want to look, touch it, make sure there's no dents. You know, touch it, move it. Yeah, it's attached to the plane. Nothing's loose. Good, let's move on. Wing. No severe dents. You don't want roughness in the wing. Anything hanging off, because that will disrupt the airflow over the wing. So look at your wing, go through the plane. All right, everything's good here, no dents, everything's solid. Take your time, pre-flight the plane. Stall warning, some are electric, some are by air. Can't really hear it. It really kind of stinks to suck in there, but you suck in there and you want to hear that stall warning. It's part of your pre-flight, right? Isn't that what we do? Some are electric, which means you're going to have to go in the cockpit, turn the master on. The ones that are electric are going to have a little lever sticking out. And all you do is push the lever up and you're going to hear the stall warning. Go back, turn off the master, stall warning is good. Safe for flight. Come back, check your feet, lean into the wing. Wingtip. Look. Yeah, wing is attached. Does this hurt the airplane? No. I've actually gone up to airplanes, some of these light sports, we did this, and the airplane, the wing moved forward and backwards. And that plane was airworthy. Was it really airworthy? No. But nobody bothered to check that the wing was attached to the plane. Okay, it doesn't hurt to do this to a plane, right? You're going to be doing this in flight anyway. Okay? Want to make sure everything's working here. The wingtip helps with the airflow. As the planes get older, they crack. It's okay, they're not going to come off. Can you fly an airplane without a wingtip? Yes, you can. Okay? Some of it is aesthetic, and some of it is for airflow, for the smoothness of the airflow over the wing. The lights, of course, we're going to check before we go. Airlines. Safety off. Come here. Now, on the airplane, you don't really ever want to touch where the aluminum is soft. You always want to touch an aircraft mainly where the rivets are, right? These are the strongest parts of the airplane because it's all riveted together. Here, this is where it gets to be the Coca-Cola can, if you see. Okay? It's all soft. You start grabbing that, you're going to dent it. You want to grab the airline. Make sure you got a nice smooth, that you don't hear anything moving in there, shifty, wrong. Take a look, right? You're going to put your body in here. Take a good look, make sure everything's attached. All right? Then you're going to come under here. You want to hold this up and get your rod end in here and make sure that it has play. I've seen these get actually stiff. And if they're stiff and they don't have that movement, it could actually break. So you want to get in there and just kind of turn it, make sure it's attached correctly. It's not touching up against anything, right? All right, that has a nice little play in it. Good to go. You see you have a little counterweight in here also to help with the your controls in the aircraft, especially when there's wind going over it. That's good. There's no bees in here. There's no bird made a nest in here. All right, take a look. Takes a minute. The hinges are all connected. And everything's good. You see the movement's good. Nothing's broken. Very simple stuff. This is a hinge like on a, I don't know, a 1930s door. Piano hinge. There's really nothing to it. Now you're going to drop the flaps and you're going to do the same thing. You're going to come in here. Look, there's wheels. There's bearings in here. There's another rod end, like on the airline. You want to grab that as best you can and just make sure there's a little bit of play in there, that it's just a ball on a swivel, that it's not coming loose, because that will wear with time, right? You don't want that thing flapping around in the wind. Looking at, does anybody know how, look, oh wow, I can actually move the whole plane. Well, I guess that's not locked down, is it? Well, it shouldn't be, okay? All right? What are we looking at? We got a disc, just like in a car. the caliper, and pads. The beauty about this is that you can actually see everything, where in a car, you're not going to so much see it. So get down in here. You have hydraulic fluid coming to the brake pads. The caliper, that's what enacts. When you press that pedal down, you're pushing the hydraulic fluid forward, you're pushing the piston out, and really only the inside pads are what's pressing. The outside pad, which you can see here, if I wasn't so blind, you can see there's still pad left in there. Okay? The shop's done what it's supposed to do. Right? It's not pressing up locked, so we know that it's been released. What you don't want to do is come here, do this, and not be able to move it. That means the brake pad's locked to the disc. Right? That's going to slow your takeoff roll. Right? Because the brakes are actually working before you're even pressing them. Okay? That's a problem. You should be able to do that. That means that it's been released. Whether they work or not, you'll know when you press the thing. What are you looking for? You're looking for hydraulic leaks. Make sure there isn't a lot of moisture here, because the only moisture you're going to get here is from the hydraulic fluid, which is MIL 5606. Standard hydraulic fluid in all aircraft. It's all they use. It's basically watered down transmission fluid, but FAA approved. All right? Rotors look good. You're going to always see corrosion because that's just the way they're designed. Now you got some good thickness there. Of course, if we do what we're supposed to do, that should all be within spec. Okay? You got wheel bearings in here. I don't see any grease popping out, flowing out. Very simple. It's like a trailer wheel. It's just two bearings and a nut that's tightened down to the point where it's not too tight and not too loose. There's nothing scientific about it. You know what I'm saying? All right? Brakes look good. I don't see any hydraulic fluid leaking out. Everything's nice and tight. They're not driving machines. They're flying machines. These are not designed to go 150 miles an hour. It's designed to go 300-400 feet down the runway and get you off the ground. So there's nothing fancy going on here. But you don't want to have hydraulic fluid leaking out of this, because you will not have brakes, and it's going to be very hard to stop and land. I've done it. Fairing. The gear, this is not the gear. You don't want to step on this. This is just another fairing. No step. Right? You want to step here. The actual landing gear is this steel aluminum rod. Well, I think most of it's steel. It goes up into the fuselage. This is your spring. This is what makes it like a shock in a car. This is just to cover it, make it fancy. Can you fly the plane without this? Yes. It's just there to make it pretty and assist in airflow. We all know why there's wheel fairings. It doesn't aid in flight, it helps with the airflow. It will actually gain a little speed by putting that fairing on this, because this dangling out in the wind does sort of slow the plane down. Okay, putting that fairing on there gives you a nice airflow, but having that fairing doesn't give you the visibility to do that. And being that you're renting an aircraft, you don't care about going fast. You want to care about being safe. I'm going to have brakes on this flight, right? Nothing's leaking. Very simple system. If it's leaking, you're going to have a problem. Make sure your doors close. This one apparently has a problem with something with a spring that's making the door pop open. We're going to fix. Make sure it's closed. It's not going to pop open in flight, which would be rather difficult for this to pop open in flight, because remember, the airflow is going this way. But with a turn and weight or something inside, if this isn't closed, things can start shooting out that door and landing on people's houses. Don't want that. Elevator, same thing as your wing. Make sure there's no severe damage. Everything's good. Give it a touch. Make sure it's nice and solid. Again, same as the wingtip. This can be cracked. It's plastic. It happens. Just make sure they're on the plane. Will the plane fly without it? Yes. Okay. Fueling. Always have a rag in your hand. This plane was in the rain. There's lots of water here. I don't want to take this fuel cap off and then have water fall into the tank. So let's clean the water off, so that when we open up this tank, we have no possibility of water getting in the tank, because water in the fuel will stop that engine on the spot. You cannot compress water. You can compress air, you can compress nitrogen, you can compress lots of things. The only thing you can't compress is water. Water has the volume and density that it has. So, make sure you're nice and clean. You want this to be snug. There's a rubber gasket on here, right? There's little tabs right here. In the tank, there's two openings. We've had it where people have tried to jam this cap into the tank, and they bent the caps. Not a good thing. So, check your fuel, put in your stick, check your levels, line up the tabs, and make sure it's closed tightly. This cap will not come off in flight. I don't care if it's loose, it will not come off. It is not designed to come off by any means, even if the thing was jiggling in here. What you're going to risk is that water's getting in there because the gasket's loose, right? So this cap feels nice. It's nice and snug. No, very little chance of water. You're good. In the cap, if you notice, there's a breather. Back in the 60s, there were accidents because you need to displace air for the fuel to flow into the engine. These are gravity-fed engines. Okay? The fuel flows to the engine because the weight of the fuel makes its way down from gravity into the engine. If you don't displace the air in this tank, the fuel cannot flow. The whole thing of trying to get water out of a glass, right? You want to make sure that this is all intact. If you notice in the cap, if you lift this up, it's vented. You see there's little holes in there. Okay? And that's venting through this right here. It's closed, obviously, so water doesn't come in. But if you look inside the cap, there's little holes in there that air flows through here, so that the tank can breathe. Okay? Make sure that's all intact. Okay? Examine it. Cap's good, very important. Line it up, turn it, you're locked. Every aircraft should also have some indication of here how much fuel, what fuel it takes, what grade fuel, if it accepts MoGas, which is automotive fuel without ethanol. All of these planes are STC to take MoGas. You can mix the MoGas with the avgas, it doesn't matter. The only difference is a little bit difference in octane. The MoGas is 91 octane, avgas is 100 octane with low lead, 100 LL. There's nothing low lead about low lead avgas. It's packed full of lead. It has less lead than it used to, but it's still packed full of lead, okay? MoGas, automotive fuel, non-ethanol automotive fuel, because ethanol motor fuel will dry the gaskets in the aircraft. You do not want to put regular car gas in an airplane. This aircraft, it tells you right here, fuel, 80, 87 minimum grade. Back when these planes were designed and the engines were STC, standard type certificate, the fuel was 100 to 87 grade. They didn't have 100 low lead when these planes were designed. The 100 low lead came later on. So this plane is designed to take a minimum grade of 80, which is pretty low, to 87. It says here, minimum 80, 87 minimum grade aviation gasoline or unleaded auto gasoline, 87 minimum anti-knock index per ASTM, American Standard. Oh, I forgot what the TM for. Well, that's a standard, an industry standard for grading internationally. Okay, it tells you this plane will run on MoGas. You could be on an island. You could land in an airport one night where for some reason the pump ain't working, you need to get home. You can get a courtesy car, go to the gas station, get some unleaded MoGas, throw it in the plane, and go home. As long as it says here that you can take it. Only works with carbureted aircraft. You cannot put auto fuel in a fuel-injected aircraft. It will not work. The engine will get vapor lock and it will stop. Okay? Only on a carbureted engine will there be an STC, standard type certificate, approving automotive fuel in the aircraft. By the way, when you mix the MoGas with the aviation fuel, it turns green. It's not sick, it doesn't have an infection. It's just the blue and the yellow mix, and you get green fuel. It's okay when you see green fuel. That just means that the avgas is mixed with the MOGAS. While we're here, antennas. These are your NavCom antennas. They do navigation and communication. If the antenna is split, it will not work. Okay? When they get old, they split up the middle. The antenna is not going to receive, it's not going to work. So take a look at your antenna, make sure it's on the plane. They're not split, they're dirty, but they're okay. If you look in the back, you have your glide slope antenna, which is a brand. Those are the more inexpensive ones. They will break. Those are aligned. There is nothing rotating in there. It is merely a light that turns on and off, on and off. It's called a rotating beacon because it appears to be rotating. Some of the older models did rotate, like in the Baron. It actually had a little mechanism in there that rotated. That's on a higher end plane, maybe in a jet. On the smaller planes, it's merely a light that turns on and off, your rotating beacon. Okay, you have ELT antenna, NavCom antenna, glide slope antenna if the aircraft is glide slope, and here we have a GPS antenna. And generally it says GPS. This receives your satellite signals for any GPS operating system in your aircraft. It's really kind of hard to mess this one up. It's just like a little hockey puck. But if you've seen aircraft with this type of antenna, those are the GPS antennas. This is all the new style for next gen. And a lot of this stuff's going to go away here in another 3-4 years. Mandatory. Top of the wing looks good, nothing's loose. A little hail, believe it or not, makes the plane fly better. Just like a golf ball. If you look at most older planes, they all have some hail damage, a little ding here and there. It's okay. It does not affect the way the plane flies. The most critical part is this leading edge, if anything. Not the top, not the bottom.
Inside here, below this, and always in the back of every aircraft in the world, has an emergency locator transmitter, which is set off by impact. If this plane were to impact anything suddenly, it will automatically start sending a signal out so somebody can find you. If you look in the log books, which you're supposed to know and do, so to know that we're doing our job to provide you with a safe aircraft, this ELT, the battery has to be replaced every 24 months from date of installation. Regardless of the date on the battery, the date on the battery could be 2 years and 7 months. That means it's good until that date, but it's only good in the aircraft and airworthy 24 calendar months from the date of installation noted in the logbook. 24 months, you got to take it out, put a new battery. Part of what we do in our 100-hour inspection and annual inspection is to take that ELT out, punch in 121.5 on a radio, okay? You test the ELT by turning it on. And what are you going to hear on that radio? Beep, 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 beep. That's how they find you.
How do you tie down a plane? Ready to go?
Yep.
Okay, for all you movie buffs. Fantastic Four. In, under. That's it. Just that simple. As the wind picks up in a storm, the slip knot actually gets tighter. Okay, now you don't want to have a knot that's going to be so tight that if a strong wind comes in it, it'll peel the wing back because the strings will be stronger than the wing, right? So we'll do it one more time. Very important because you'll be responsible. And this goes for all of the tie downs. Easy to remember. Fantastic Four. In and under the last knot. Okay? Just like that. Doesn't have to be blaringly tight. That's it. You're tied down. Pull that knot down and you're snug. That's all you got to do. That's how you tie down an airplane.